Hey guys, so this video is the next one in raising a child with special needs. This is ages 4 to 6. So let's see. I had left off with him coming home from the hospital, and after he came home from the hospital, he still had a lot of issues with his ADHD. The way his meds wasn't working for him. And after a while, it just became this constant, ongoing struggle. Sorry, I just need to get comfortable. My leg is going to sleep. I'm sitting on the floor with back issues. I probably shouldn't do that, but this is like the best place for me to make a video because there's a lot of light and I can look outside and see how beautiful it is. Anyway, so he was still in that therapeutic school slash daycare or whatever, and he was still getting his speech and OT, which was really good because he was really coming into his language and being able to communicate a lot better, and people were able to understand him more, which made a big difference in his ability not to become so angry because people couldn't understand him. And somewhere in between there was an in-home support agency that came in, and he still had a case manager at the time. And it was just, he was still being held and stuff, and so he couldn't hurt himself or hurt anybody else, and it was just a very, very difficult thing for him. I can't imagine what that was like for him. I don't have ADHD, nor am I on the autistic spectrum, so I can't begin to imagine what, from his point of view, at his age, what it's like for him. All I could do is support him and try to work with him and do the best that I could, which was definitely a challenge. So anyway, when he was 5, he started kindergarten. And when he was in kindergarten, it was very difficult for him because, like I said, his meds weren't set up in a way that was beneficial for him. And I think I can't remember exactly. Yeah, he was seeing his current psychiatrist at this time. Yeah, because we've talked about that. I think, yeah. It's hard to keep track of how long things have been going on. It's just, it all meshes together sometimes. So I'm sorry if I'm kind of all over the place. So he used to get held up to 10 times a day in school. And it had, this behavior and whatnot increased to 5 days a week, 10 times a day. That's a lot. And it was very draining and very scary and sad, and just very hard to deal with something like that. From his point of view, from my point of view, from the school's point of view, just a very hard thing to deal with. And when he still had his case manager, I didn't know what to do. I had done the other in-home support, and it's just not long enough. It's just not. These kids need long-term, ongoing care, and the system just isn't set up that way. But of course, it's set up by people who have no personal experience with mental illness. So, come to draw your own conclusions about that. And that's when the referral was put in for the other in-home support system that I think I talked about, that I cut them loose. But anyway, I had to wait, because he was 5, and I had to wait a year. And during this time, he's still having this stuff going on in school. Now, as he gets older, it's less and less, which is a good thing. He is making tremendous progress. But at this time, he's 5, he's having a hard time. It's just very difficult, and basically it was just an every, day by day struggle. Sometimes he'd have these long periods of awesomeness, and then one day, boom, he's just having these episodes again. So and this was also during the time that I was having back issues. From, I think he was 3 years old until my last surgery was, 2 years ago? A year and a half? I don't know, whenever it was. It was right before I moved in here that I had my second surgery. And I was in a lot of pain. And I was dealing with my own issues on top of dealing with him. Oh my God, I don't know how I made it through that. I don't think if it wasn't for my mother being there and helping me through that, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know. I don't think I could have handled it all at the same time. And a lot of that was him kind of seeing how I was and my emotions and just all the pain I was in. He saw that firsthand, So I think that had an impact on his behavior and his emotions, but he couldn't verbalize. He couldn't say, well, I am unhappy because my mother is in pain and it scares me. He couldn't say that, it's the whole communication thing, so that was going on. And then waited a whole year. He was 6. I had my surgery it was October. I think it was October 17th of that year. And I needed time to recover. And that's when the agency kind of came in, and I should have known from the get-go, but I wasn't thinking clearly, and all I wanted was help for my son. And I felt like I had to do everything I could. Otherwise, I wasn't, I couldn't say, well, I tried this, but it didn't work, whatever. I just felt like I had to. But from the get-go, the clinician came in, and I was like, well, I'm scheduled for surgery, and I'm going to need time to recover so I can be able to, do everything that you're asking of me and whatever. And you know what? This person didn't give a crap. It was like, nope, this is the way it is. If not, we're going to have to pull out and you're going to have to wait another year, blah, 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 blah. So I felt this pressure to sacrifice my physical health just to please this agency, because they're very strict rules, because basically this agency was a step before actual residential care. This was like a residential care program in the home. I wouldn't recommend that unless it is suitable for your situation. But in the end, it wasn't suitable for my situation, my sense, don't even get me started on that. Or I'm just thinking about it, it's just like overwhelming. Okay, anyway, so I had to like, and at the same time, my son was having these issues, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but, oh yeah, that's right. He had an episode while they were there, and their philosophy is, if the child disagrees with you, let's call the police and blah, 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 blah. And he got sent to hospital so many times, I can't even count. But one of the times that he was sent there, he actually did end up going to the hospital a second time. He was 6. And I felt so bad because he was in there during Thanksgiving. And that December, yeah, I've been here a little over a year and a half. When I moved in here, it was like, what, 2012? Yeah, December of 2012, it was December 1st, I started moving in, and I had to wait to get everything moved in. And you know, when you move into a place, it takes a while to get things situated and put everything away and, you know, do your thing. And this person didn't give me any time for anything, and it was like, no, my way or the highway, whatever. And I was never doing anything right with this person. This person was not there this entire time. This person did not know. Honestly, this person I don't think was qualified for this job. I don't think this person should be working with children and in mental health. That's just my opinion, but whatever. So it was just a very, very stressful time. And this agency was only hurting him. Hurting him. And that time that he had gone to after he had gotten out of the hospital, I'm kind of going into when he was like 7, but he was at the hospital, and I was talking to the doctor, and we were talking about the medication, and he was saying, you know, maybe the way that his medication is set up isn't actually helping him, because he explained it to me. I guess it made sense to me. He's like, okay, so in the morning he gets said medicine, okay? So like if it's on a chart, and then it lasts for so many hours, and then you start to peak with the hyperactivity. And when you get in this situation, he's like, if there is a medicine to kind of help him bring him back down a little bit, it wouldn't be so bad. And then, because I guess with hyperactivity, it peaks and goes down and peaks and goes down. At least for him it does. And it made sense to me what he was saying, and I spoke to his psychiatrist about it, and we were able to figure out a regimen that helps him stay pretty much stable during the day. And that made a huge difference in his behavior and his concentration at school and just in general. I mean, he couldn't spend 3 seconds on one thing. I mean, he'd only spend 3 seconds on one thing and then off to the next thing. And it was just too much. And he was always telling me how his head just felt like it was racing all the time. He still tells me those things. But it's not as bad. But that medication piece was very, very helpful in helping to bring down, lessen the symptoms, so he could start work with other stuff. You know what I mean? And it definitely made a difference. But that time was just so difficult, and it was just, I don't know how we survived that. I really don't. It was just very difficult, but you know, that's just basically the gist of ages 4 to 6. You know, so yeah. He is definitely a trooper, I will tell you that. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he manages to be such a happy kid with all the stuff that goes on. You know, I guess in a way he inspires me to kind of try and let things roll off my back, because he's like that. He kind of lets things roll off his back. Maybe it's because of his age. He hasn't been tainted by, you know, life yet. You know, yeah. Or all of the many people who are just miserable people and aren't nice and whatever. You know, he's had some experience with that, but I'll get into that another video. But so yeah, that is those ages in a nutshell. And like I said, he's going into 3rd grade this year, but from age 3 to now, because he's 8 now, the holds are a lot less. The outbursts are a lot less. He just keeps making progress. So that is a good thing, and I'm very, very happy that he's getting better with like social skills, communication skills, behavior skills, and all that goes with having a mental illness, whether you're a child or an adult or a teenager. So yeah, that's that. So I don't know if this was helpful. I feel like I've just been babbling. But yeah, those are those ages, and you know, maybe somebody can relate, or you know, take something from this video. But yeah, you can get through it. You know, very difficult, but it is doable. So, all right, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone is doing well, and you know, I appreciate the positive comments that you guys leave me. It really is helpful to know that some of my videos are helpful for you. It really does make me feel good, and I'm glad that I can help, even if it's in a small way. Alright, I will catch you guys later. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye.